Hey, what's up guys, how are we all doing? Back for another video. I hope you're all well. Top 10, top 10 scariest players in the NFL, which is a hell of a title for a video like this because I find, generally speaking, every NFL player is quite scary. So to be top 10 out of them, you have to either be an absolute monster or a total prick. I don't know which one's worse, to be honest. But I hope you've all been well. I know I didn't upload last week just because I had work all week, that's all it was. But I did find out that the next season starts on my birthday, September 8th. I believe it was the Bills versus the Rams. So that's what we're doing on my birthday, while having a pint, of course, and a curry. But I hope everyone's well, man. I'm going to jump straight into the video, man. I always find myself waffling at the start of these, and I know when I watch reaction videos it always pisses me off, so I don't know why I do it. Let's jump into it.
From playing mind games before kickoff to delivering career-ending hits, a special group of players have kept opponents up at night with their terrorizing behavior. These are the 10 scariest players in NFL history. No other player had a more iconic way of instilling fear in the eyes of his opponents than Ray Lewis. And he did it before the game even started.
In fact, I think we covered him in a video.
His pre-game entrance was a declaration of war.
Yeah, that's the man that don't
care.
care.
The guy who said that every time he stepped on the field, he was Maximus from Gladiator. As Lewis emerged from a smoky tunnel with fire blazing all around him before partaking in something that looked like a scene from his favorite movie, opposing teams shuddered.
When that whistle blow, we unleash hell today. When that whistle blow, we unleash hell.
Because they knew what was coming. 60 minutes of bone-crushing hits from
tell you what, man.
Sports Science said the only reason he didn't break his opponent's bones on every hit is because the shoulder pads absorbed 50% of the force. Lewis was so powerful that he didn't even have to be locked in on a player to lay them out. Having shared a division
I was going to say, his hits look like he's hitting with steel, do you know what I mean? Like, there's not even really that much shudder in like the opponent's shoulders. Oh, Ocho, he's funny. I don't know if you ever see him on TikTok or who's the guy that he's friends with, the big dude. I can never remember his name. He's on a lot of the like the NFL channels. He's funny. He was on about he used to take like half a pill of Viagra before each match. I don't know why, man. I just find the dude the funniest. He's got the whitest teeth on the planet, but I really like him. He always pops up on like my social media.
Him for many years, former Bengals wide receiver Chad Ochocinco decided that he had finally had enough of Lewis's reign of terror. While Lewis had his eyes on the ball, Ochocinco tried to get payback for countless brutal hits with a blindside shot on the linebacker. Yet, despite paying no attention to Ochocinco, Lewis leveled him to the ground like it was nothing and left the wideout gasping for air.
When Rudy's coming, I tried to blindside Ray. He ran me over.
I think I've seen that clip. I think he was talking about it. It wasn't Charles Barkley. It was I can't remember his name, man. The massive dude. He done the interview with Cat Williams. What is his name? But he's so funny when he just talks. He talks about like his past NFL stories and stuff like that. Hilarious.
A lesson to never test one of the most vicious to ever do it.
He wasn't looking and still ran through me. And unfortunately, the concussion set in. I tried to pretend like nothing happened.
Along with making every hit count, it wasn't just quality over quantity for Lewis. To this day, he is still the NFL's all-time leader in career solo and combined tackles, with 1,568 and 2,000.
He had a passion. You know, someone has a passion for what they do.
War mentality is definitely something that the terrorizing Jack Tatum could relate to, but there was nothing even
2 seconds.
Too civilized about his play. Tatum developed a reputation for being absolutely ruthless with his hits, and sometimes even crossing the line. Because of this, he became known as the Assassin, and for good reason.
Fiercest hitter at safety ever. And Jack
Him, that's the one about. I can never remember his name. And you know when you know it, but whenever you need to know it, you don't.
Aforementioned by me. Fiercest hitter in the game.
Assassin.
Yep, the Assassin.
During a 1978 preseason game, on an incomplete pass over the middle, he paralyzed Patriots wide receiver Darryl Stingley from the chest down. Not only were people furious that Tatum paralyzed another player, they couldn't believe it happened during a meaningless preseason game. And to make matters worse,
Oh, yeah. You know what? We had an injury 2 seasons ago. Them pre-season injuries will piss you off, man. I swear to God, you know, it's always your best player that goes out in them as well. I don't know what it is. I just want to see, did we cover him in a... I swear we covered him in a video. I feel like I should know him. Nah, maybe not.
Worse, Tatum never apologized for the hit.
I'd just like to, wish Daryl, a full and speedy recovery and send him my best wishes.
And even went as far as saying this: I understand why Daryl is considered the victim, but I'll never understand why some people look at me as the villain. While this response may come as a bit of a shock...
See, yeah, you get what he's on about, but he fully knows what is the villain in it.
Tatum's idea of a good hit sheds some light on his approach to the game. My idea of a good hit is when the victim wakes up on the sideline, train whistles blowing in his head. I like to believe that my best hits border on felonious assault. Despite public blowback, Tatum refused to change his hard-hitting ways. A year after it, he was face-to-face with one of the game's most powerful running backs in Earl Campbell. Tatum met him head-on at the goal line, and even though Campbell managed to stumble into the end zone, the collision left a lasting impact. The lick I took from Jack Tatum, that's the only time I ever felt somebody hit me, Campbell said. A shock went down to the heels of my feet, and it...
Oh my God.
When I was standing on my head in my end zone, nobody knew this, but I was thinking, something's wrong. A year later, one of Campbell's doctors watched the collision and believed it caused him spinal problems that plagued him long after his career was over.
Oh man, you hate to hear that, innit, no matter what you think of the player. But it does just go to show how strong he was.
Live forever in infamy. But they're still not the most famous hits in NFL history. That distinction belongs to arguably the greatest defensive player ever, Lawrence Taylor. With the football world tuned into a 1985...
Is he the one that was...
player ever.
Do you remember the old game, Blitz the League? That's who that's based off, isn't it?
Lawrence
I seem to
Taylor,
remember.
with the football world tuned into a 1985 Monday Night Football game between the Giants and Redskins, Taylor, on a single play, changed the sport forever. As Washington ran a flea flicker, Taylor saw right through the trickery and pounced on QB Joe Theismann like a jungle cat. Taylor and a handful of players immediately signaled to the sideline for help, as Theismann was in excruciating pain and unable to get up. Having broken both bones in his lower leg, Theismann never played another snap. Because of that play and Taylor's overall dominance at the position, teams at all levels began placing on emphasis on the left tackle position to protect the quarterback's blind side. Although the play ultimately defined his career, Taylor's
He's a big dude, isn't he?
just as memorable. As the iconic John Madden put it, he changed the way defense is played, the way pass rushing is played, the way linebackers play, and the way offenses block linebackers. As a 10-time Pro Bowler, Taylor became just the second defender to win the league's MVP award. He was also named Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. Legendary coach Bill Belichick served as Taylor's defensive coordinator with the Giants.
You know what? I'm surprised that, I know I say this in a lot of videos, but I'm surprised, again, I feel like this is a name that everyone should know, sports-wise. It is, generally should be a household name. But I definitely remember him, and I think that's who the main kind of the protagonist's mentor is in Blitz the League. I swear it's based off him. But I've definitely heard of him, definitely seen him play. Not seen him play, I've seen clips.
Legendary coach Bill Belichick served as Taylor's defensive coordinator with the Giants and said, "What makes LT so great, what makes him so aggressive, is his total disregard for his body." Belichick even went as far as to declare him the best defensive player he's ever coached by a good margin. And while Taylor had no intentions of ending Theismann's career, the same cannot be said for when Hall of Fame linebacker Dick Butkus was out there. According to fellow cannot be said for when Hall of Fame linebacker Dick Butkus.
That cannot be his real name. Dick Butkus. Bosh.
was out there. According to fellow Hall of Famer Deacon Jones,
he was an animal, and he was a well-conditioned animal, and every time he hit you, he tried to put you in the cemetery, not the hospital.
His savage playing style and mindset came from Butkus's unique warm-up routine. When I went out on the field to warm up, I would manufacture things to make me mad, he said. If someone on the other team was laughing, I'd pretend he was laughing at me or the Bears. I'd find something to get mad about. It always worked for me. But opposing players were definitely never...
Them guys are psycho. You know, then when you have to watch your mouth around because you don't know how he's gonna twist your words. That's that's that kind of guy. You watch what you say to him.
Laughing at Butkus.
Long memory.
They were deathly afraid of him.
Told me he was going to kick mine. You know what? The first time I ever played against him, my rookie year.
As former Packers running back MacArthur Lane once put it, if I had a choice, I'd sooner go one-on-one with a grizzly bear than with Butkus. I prayed that I could get up every time Butkus hit me. In addition to laying the boom on guys like Lane, Butkus led one of the NFL's all-time greatest defenses and tackles for 8 straight seasons. Jack
He's
Lambert was
mad
another
bastard.
linebacker in charge of one of the league's most terrorizing.
I love like the defensive players in the NFL. I find them. It's not that I don't find the offensive players interesting, but it takes a certain kind of breed to, well, first of all, make it in the NFL with the work, the amount of determination that goes along with being able to make it in there. You know, it's a 1 in a million chance, isn't it, that you will ever make it to the NFL. To make it to the NFL purely because you want to go up there and crush people, it just brings you a smaller number of the population, which means we're starting to get into real psychopath levels here. And then some crazy bastards decided to give him a job and put him on a field. I love that.
As ever, serving as the face of the Steel Curtain, and it was an unforgettable face, to say the least. Missing his 4 upper front teeth, Lambert's toothless snarl was the perfect representation of his
Yeah, he
playing
looks
style.
scary.
Before becoming a legend, John
Trevor
Elway,
from
in his
GTA.
first career game, had to go up against Lambert's Steelers. It was a moment that Elway would never forget, and one he couldn't wait to end. He had no teeth, and he was slobbering all over himself, Elway said. I'm thinking, you can have your money back, just get me out of here. I can't tell you how badly I wanted out of there. Nicknamed Dracula in cleats, Lambert's motto was, we're the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're supposed to be the Intimidators. He did everything he could to live up to this, even if it meant almost getting thrown out of the Super Bowl. In Super Bowl X, Cowboys safety Cliff Harris taunted Steelers kicker Roy Gerela by patting him on the head following a missed field goal. Lambert responded immediately by body slamming Harris to the ground. After the game, he explained the
He's
move
a
by
big
saying,
guy as well.
when I see injustice, I try to do something about it. Lambert never shied away from confrontation and always had his teammates back. His bold attitude and fearless play
He's just cleaning people
and
out.
propelled them to 4 Super Bowl victories in just 6
Fucking hell.
seasons. And with just as cool a nickname as Dracula in cleats, Dick Night Train Lane was never supposed to make this list, let alone play.
I just seen an RKO on the field.
In cleats.
Also, did anyone watch WrestleMania? Sorry, that RKO comments just reminded me. WrestleMania was sick this year. The Undertaker coming back. I could have cried.
Dick Night Train Lane was never supposed to make this list, let alone play in the NFL. Lane played just 1 season of junior college football before serving in the U.S. Army for 4 years. After being discharged from the Army, he happened to pass by the Los Angeles Rams office on his bus ride to work. Despite a total lack of experience playing the sport at a high level, Lane decided to stop in and asked to try out as a receiver. The team was so blown away by his raw athleticism that they gave him a spot. Lane eventually switched to defensive back, and the Rams quickly fell in love with his ferocious playing style. It didn't take long for the rest of the league to become familiar with this, as the NFL had to create rules against Lane's brutal tackling style. He became known for wrapping players around the neck or grabbing their face mask and slinging them to the ground.
Yeah, this guy's not really playing NFL, is he? This not really playing like football, sorry. This dude's just like, I've seen this on TV. I can definitely tackle people, and he don't care about the technicalities of how to tackle, hips below, all that sort of stuff. This guy's like, if he's got the ball, he's coming down. That's the way this guy's looking at it.
Wrapping players around the neck or grabbing their face mask and slinging them to the ground. People started calling the move the Night Train Necktie. In 1961, he tackled John Arnett by the face mask while he was running at full speed,
Don't tell me
often
snap his
lying
neck.
motionless on the field. The next year, the NFL made a rule prohibiting grabbing the face mask to make a tackle. They later banned a tackle around the head and neck, or what was called a clothesline tackle, largely because of Night Train. For Lane, there was no malicious intent with it, explaining, my object is to stop the guy before he gains another inch. I'm usually dealing with ends who are trying to catch passes, and if I hit them in the legs, they may fall forward for a first down. There's nothing I hate worse than a first down. In addition to wreaking havoc with his tackling style, Lane was also a menace as a ball hawk. To this day, he still holds the NFL record for most interceptions in a season with 14, somehow doing so in only 12 games. But Lane isn't
Fucking
the only
hell.
player on this list who also finds himself all over the NFL record book. And while most people associate scary football players with defenders, this guy actually played on the other side of the ball. Throughout his career, Jim Brown made sure that the opposing team always saw him in the warm-ups. He said, knowing that they'd been told all about me all week, and how they'd have to watch out for me and how they'd have to plan to stop me and gang tackle me, I challenged them by saying, this is the guy, man, take a look. Here it is, right now,
Cool.
232 pounds, 6 foot 2 inches. I can beat you in a 40, and I got attitude. The attitude is, you're gonna hit me, and I'm gonna hit you. What could be mistaken for an arrogant mindset by Brown was a well-earned, confident swagger. He knew that he was nearly impossible to bring down, as he led the league in rushing in 8 out of his 9 seasons. Unfortunately for Brown's opponents, this unbelievable feat wasn't just the result of him just outrunning them. Saying that he viewed football as the closest civilized thing to war, Brown would often bulldoze his opponents. His famous line was, make sure when anyone tackles you, he remembers how much it hurts. And his opponents sure did remember it, as Brown set the all-time record for most
It's weird that, like, they're actually getting decent tackles in, and it's just not working. And I suppose for like the human psyche, when you've executed what would appear to you to be a perfect tackle and it didn't work, it does leave you a bit dumbfounded. Like, well, what am I supposed to do? A tackle, it hurts me. He doesn't stop. So what's the point?
Yards with 12,312, yards per carry with 5.2, and rushing touchdowns with 106. It's been more than 50 years since he retired, and his record of career rushing yards per game still stands at 104.3. Not only has it stood the test of time,
so 100 yards per game. That sounded really posh, per game. But 100 yards per game is crazy across a career like that as well. You know, you can understand it over the course of a season, maybe you'd hit that, but over the course of a career.
No other player has even cracked the 100 yards per game mark since. And while Brown was always a superstar on the gridiron, James Harrison's journey to making this list is a true underdog story.
Is it the same as football in like a lot of the... I know it's relative to the time period, but you think you'd never get that many rushing yards in the modern game because the game's changed and the athleticism of players has changed. Do you guys look at stuff like that as well? Like in football, we see a lot of stuff like the person that's got the most successful so-and-so or some player from the 1970s, and then you see a clip of it and you're like, what are the defence doing? Like, the standard looks shit. And I'm not saying it was shit because at the time, you know, it's relative. But when I look back at some of the top scorers in like the 1970s, I just look at them and I think the keepers and the defenders look shit. So is that the way you guys look back on like your games, as opposed to like when you see the modern game? But having said that though, we look back and you think, God, it looks shit. But also the individual brilliance was more of a thing back then for football, and I feel like you guys might suffer the same problem. Whereas we look back and you think, like, even as recent as like 15, 20 years ago, there were so many superstars. Like, off the top of your head, like, you could have like 5 superstars on a team. Do you know what I mean? And now it's more about system players that play well in a system. Like, a perfect example is like Jack Grealish, who plays for Man City. I'm only using him because I used to hate him because I'm a Blues fan. He was a Villa player. He was brilliant at Villa because he was allowed the freedom to roam and do whatever. He was really good. And then when he went to City, I'm not saying he's not good, but he's lost that flair because playing under like Pep Guardiola and the Man City system, it's less about individual brilliance and more about team efficiency. And that seems to kind of go for... It seems to have developed in all sports, where there's less individual stars and more team-based efficiency. I don't know if you guys suffer that same problem.
Star on the gridiron. James Harrison's journey to making this list is a true underdog story. Undersized at only 6 feet tall, Harrison was released 3 different times as a rookie. But instead of giving up on his dream, he used those setbacks as inspiration and fuel to become one of the strongest and most durable players the game has ever seen. It also led Harrison to never taking his foot off the gas on the field.
My objective in tackling someone was to put them out of that game. I didn't want to injure them.
but I wanted him to hurt.
Even if he was going up against a close friend. In the same 2010 game against the Browns, Harrison knocked out 2 different Cleveland wide receivers, in Josh Cribbs and Mohamed Massaquoi. Describing his approach, Harrison explained, "I tried to hurt people. I never tried to injure anyone. I tried to hurt people. I wanted them not to be able to finish the game. When I hit my homeboy Josh Cribbs, I felt like when I hit him, that hurt. I want to be able to say, I got you." Then, while talking years later about the hit on Massaquoi, he said,
"Oh my God.
Massaquoi with about 50%, bro. Dead serious. I just wanted him to let go of the ball. If I would have known then what I found out after, I'd have gave him everything I had. If I known they was going to fine me $75,000 for that, I would have laid into him. He might not have gotten off that field." As Harrison got older, neither his viciousness nor his otherworldly strength faded. While most defenders don't play past 39, he was still lighting up opposing wide receivers and going viral for his workout videos. A workout video...
So, just talking about that, I saw a thing, and I think we may have discussed this on the channel before, that the average NFL career is 3 to 4 years. Is that... And now I'm thinking, is that just because there's so many players, it just brings the average down? Surely these players, like, I don't know what age you get into the NFL. I imagine it'd be like, I'm trying to think of like the American college system. And imagine they get in there at 23, 24, could be wrong, and then play till 35, something like that. Because I know, like, because of the European education system, our football players, our soccer players, start a lot younger. So we have like 17 and 18 year olds on the field. Do you know what I mean? But I think because the American college, you play American football first at college when you're like 19, 20, 21. Yeah, just help me out with that, because I'm not really sure how it works in terms of the ages.
In 2017 showed him doing 675-pound hip thrusts, hang cleans, and reverse lunges at 315, 405-pound decline presses, 225-pound overhead triceps extensions, and 1,800-pound sled pushes. Another player who used superhuman strength to become a total nightmare for opposing teams was Reggie White. As former Eagles wide receiver Mike Quick put it, he could take a 320-pound man and just toss him like it was nothing. The funniest thing is to see a 320-pound man just being tossed, and I've never seen anything like that. And not only did White have this freakish strength, but he had speed and athleticism that allowed him to play defensive end while moving like a linebacker. Herm Edwards, who played with White on the Eagles, said, "I'd never seen anyone that big and that strong who could move that fast. He was so explosive. He drove blockers back like they were on roller skates." This extremely rare combination of speed and strength made him essentially unblockable, as he retired as the league's all-time sack leader with 198. According to former Eagles linebacker Gary Cobb, he never saw the kind of fear in the eyes of a lineman the way they used to be afraid of blocking Reggie. And similar to White, the final player on this list also relied on a unique combo of speed and strength. But standing at 5'11" and weighing 244 pounds...
Oh my God, he must have been like that. 5'11", 244.
Shouldn't have been able to do what he did. Being that thick and condensed, it's no surprise that he could and would.
What is that?
Do what he did. Being that...
This dude's legs. What the fuck? I've never seen legs like that in my entire life. 5'11", 244 pounds. I'm 5'10", 180. But I can't, it doesn't even look real. It looks like AI. It looks like it's edited. Now don't get me wrong, he's got big arms, but that's a... Look at that.
Thick and condensed, it was no surprise that he could and would often run defenders over, punishing them with his aggressive play. But the crazy thing about him was that he was just as fast as he was strong. People his size aren't supposed to have
his legs are insane.
Dash times. Campbell ran angry out there, and with his massive 36-inch thighs, he never went down without a fight. The team's equipment manager joked that they made 4 sizes of thigh pads: small, medium, large, and Earl Campbell. No moment shows just how powerful Campbell was than a play from when he was only a rookie. He met Rams All-Pro linebacker Isaiah Robinson in the hole with a head-on collision that left the defender flat on his back. Campbell then shredded another tackler who held on for dear life and was left with nothing but a piece of his jersey as Campbell kept charging forward. He was a human wrecking ball out there, just demolishing opposing defenders. Legendary Steelers linebacker Joe Green claimed that Campbell could inflict more damage than any other running back he's ever
I genuinely can't get over the size of his legs. I've never seen that. Like, even like strongmen, like who squat stupid 300 kg, 400 kg. I've never seen that in my life. That is insane.
Former Cowboys safety Cliff Harris agreed, saying, "When you finished a game against Earl, you had to sit in a tub with Epsom salts." And despite constantly using his body to deliver beatings to opposing players, Campbell, throughout his career, only missed 6 games due to an injury, a testament to his next-level toughness.
That's blown me away. I don't know if you guys are still as shocked as I am, because you've definitely seen it before. But I've just never seen someone that big around the legs. But it's being 5'11" as well. Actually would have served to his advantage in terms of that. Like, that's like taking down like a small turtle. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen anything like that in my life. I'd love to see how much he squatted. There's definitely videos of that somewhere in there. There's gotta be. What a monster. Could you imagine if you're running at him and he's running like that, he could just fuck you off over his head. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him play. Shit the bed, man. Who's this dude here? What's his name? What's his name? I don't want to be that guy, but it's Taylor Swift's boyfriend, isn't it? That was a good video, man. Again, like, it still surprises me that I haven't heard a lot of the people, but that's just mainly down to like the NFL not getting exposure in Europe. But whatever. You put us on some more of them videos, man. That's good shit. That is. I do enjoy that. And you know, if you want to see me react to any other type of videos, I know Beck's not really on the channel anymore because our working days are just all over the place. But I know we do a lot of history and like World War II, like military-based stuff. If you want to see me do any of that, just let us know. You know, I watch that in my own time. That's the only reason I've kind of stopped doing it on YouTube, is because I just watch all that shit on my own. But I definitely would do it for YouTube again. But I am enjoying the NFL stuff, so definitely keep that coming, man. As always, man, it's a pleasure to see you guys. You know, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Take it easy.